Next is the data types. That means now we have understood like what all is relational database and how data is stored in a relational database. Okay. And RDMS is the one which we'll be studying also. So now the point is, just a minute. See, this is the database model, RDMS model, which we have studied in the last class. Now,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Now, what is the data types? Means, what are the different data types that can be stored in the cells here? Each cell we are storing one data, right? Is that one data type? What is data type? That means, let's say, how we can say, okay. See, there are when you enter to a mall, so there are two entry points. Okay, so or let's say when you go for the airport, there are two entry. There are two checkpoints, right? One is for the security check of the female. One is the security check of the male. Yes or no? Why? Because that place is designated that only males can go and have a security check. A female cannot go there and cannot have a security check. Same a male cannot go into a female counter and cannot do the security check. Okay, so there is a specific place designated for both male and female. Similarly, in this database also, what kind of data I can store here? That also need to be instructed to the database on the file table creation. When we create the table, we have to instruct them that yes, this cell can store this kind of database. This table can store this kind of database. Or is it so? What are the different types of database? The different type are numeric, date and time, and string. What is numeric? Numeric is, let's say, here I want to store, let's say, in the cell I want to store 12, or I want to store some decimal point 12.45. These are numeric. Anything other than that, that means anything. This is a combination of numeric, means number, as well as character is a string. Only character is also a string. Special character, everything other than only numeric, even though it's a combination of string and numeric, is also a string. Okay. This is a string. This is a string. This is a string. Everything here is a string. But this is numeric. Here, even though I have digits 1, 2, as it is combined with the character, it becomes a string. Okay. So I have to tell this cell it can store string or not, it can store numeric or not. See here, I have told while table creation that it is numeric. Here I have told that these all are strings. Similarly, one more data type which is present is your date and time. That means it will store your value in date and time format. Let's say I want to store this date. Then I can specify that it will store date time value here. Understood? Understood or not, both of you?
Means we wanted to instruct having a separate base numeric date and time.
Yes, data type is different because it will store in DTML like 1/7/2024. That is a different data type. That store in date time. That means 1/7/2024. Then time it will be storing 15/20 like this. Okay, so date time is different. So it will store three type of data type. One is string, one is numeric, one is date time. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Clear, right?
It's clear, sir.
So you have an idea of database?
Yes,
You have worked in database earlier.
sir.
You have worked in database earlier? I'm asking, have you worked in database earlier?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay, no problem. So,
I'm fresher
yeah,
to
yeah.
learn
So,
testing.
okay, so basically, when we'll be learning database also, that will be also called as ETL testing. Okay, whatever we read till now is functional testing. Okay, this one what we will be reading here is ETL testing basically. Database testing or ETL testing. Okay. So you can apply for both ETL as well as functional once the course is complete. Now, what are the different, now this string data type are also different subdivisions. There are multiple subdivisions. Some of the subtypes of the string data type I have mentioned here, that is character, varchar, binary, var binary, text, tiny text, medium text, long text. So these are like you can say subdivision, like there is check for male and female. Even though there is check for male and female, there is a check for business class, there is a check for economy class. That means again there is subtypes, right? Similarly, for string also there are different subtypes like character strings. But it is used to specify a fixed length string. That means that can contains number, letter, and special character. As I have already told, anything other than just numeric is a string. Okay. So its size varies from 0 to 255 character. That means any string which have characters within 255 range that can be stored in char size. Okay. Similarly, for varchar, any character with size from 0 to 2655535. That means the value which I can store in character, that same I can store in varchar also. This you can just correlate like there is a door, means there is a checking door in which only one female or male can go through. Okay. Similarly, there is two door in which two female can go through, just like that. Just the length of the character. Based on that, it is subdivided again. Understood? Clear?
It's clear, sir.
Moreover, you as a tester, you will not be creating anything, any table or any database. Basically, you are the one who will just be updating or reading the database. Creating the database is not in the scope of the tester. That is created by the DBAs only. But we should know the basics. Then only we can understand how to interact with the database, right?
Oh, yes. Okay, sir.
Now, next is the int data type. Again, inside int there are beat, int, integer, float, double, like this. So basically, integer and int, they are just the numeric one. That means 14, 15, 16, like this. For if we have decimal 15.6 or 15.67, then we go for float and double. Okay. Similarly, here also it depends on the size. Like for beat, I can store till 1 to 64. For int, I can store from minus this value to 214 value. Okay, same. Only difference is that int you can store just numeric. If we have a decimal point, then we'll go for float and double. Okay. Next. Next is your date time. Okay, so for date time, you can see we have different data type. Subtype again, only date. If we have to store like YAMMDD, that means let's say 2024 0101, then you can use only date. If I want to store this YAMMDD by HHMMSS, that means a value like 2024 11, then 11 24 22 with hour, minute, and millisecond. Then you can use date time. Okay, then timestamp also same. You can store along with the UTC, like the time zone also it will store it. Okay. Or only time you can store only the time, hour, minute, and millisecond. Year it will only store the year. So depending on the requirement, you will be selecting the subtype. Clear, Gautami? What are the data types?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. It means we are instructing based on a size what we wanted to store, keep in,
What
keep
I
in
want
it.
to keep inside the cell that I'm
Uh,
instructing.
we are instructing.
Yes. We're instructing by the time of creation of the table, we're instructing the database that this table, this column can store this. That means it will apply to the whole column. If I state username is string, the whole value which is stored in this column is string. If I take this password as date data type means whole value to stored here is the date data type. Understood?
Ah, yes, sir, it's understood.
Now, next is SQL constant. Okay, so constant, what do you mean by constant in general English? What do you mean by constant? Constant means some restriction. Constant means some restrictions. Okay, so if we put some restrictions in SQL, so that is called SQL constant. Understood? Yes or no? So let's see what are the different type of constants. We can put the constant in column level, table level. Okay. So let's see what are the different type of constant. Not null. So the first constant is not null. That means just see this. Not null means I am directing that a particular column of the table should not be null. Okay. The particular column of the table should not be null. So how to create that? So this is the syntax to for create and alter. So these all will not be using basically, but yeah, for information we can just read. So this is the syntax basically how to create a table. Okay. So create table person means I'll tell create table. Let's say login. So similarly, I'll see create table login. So table name will be person. Then these are the different column ID, last name, first name is. Similarly, I have a column here, right? User ID, username, password. These are the different columns. Now I am directing that ID should not be null. It is not null. Okay. That means I will tell this user, let's say user ID not null. That means I will tell this column cannot store any null value. It may happen that I will not store any value. I can keep it blank also. If I have not defined not null. The column can have blank values also or null value. Blank value means null value. Null means no value basically. But if I give a constraint that this column is not null, that means any value in this column cannot be null. It should definitely have some value stored within it. Understood this constant?
So Pratik, not null is kind of is a variable name.
No, that is a constant. That's a constant. Okay. So I'm telling, while creating the table, I'm telling that this column, any value in this column cannot be null. Okay.
Okay.
So I cannot go after the table is created, I cannot enter any value in that column which is null. Null means no value. I have to enter, definitely I have to enter some value, or else it will throw an error. Understood?
Okay. Like unlike the other languages, after data type, always the variable name came, right? So this is constraints, not null in SQL.
No, variable is nothing. The variable is different. We have nothing to do with variable. This is the column name. This is the table
Okay.
name. This is the table name. This is the column name. And I'm directing it to that yes. This is data type int for this column. That means in this ID column, I can store only integer value. And here similarly last name I can store varchar value. First name I can store varchar value. But this should be not null. So this would be not null. That means these three column cannot have null value. But this is in I'm not given any constraint, then int can have null value.
Okay. So it is necessary always to define this not null or null whenever we create the table.
It's depend on the requirement. Okay, it's depend on the requirement how you want to create the database. If the requirement is that a single column cannot be null, you have to give that it is not null. Basically, you need not to worry about this because you will not be creating any table. It will be created by the VBA guys. But for information, for better understanding of database, you need to understand the basic structure. That's why I'm explaining this.
Okay.
You guys will be responsible basically to read the Excel. That means to retrieve data from the Excel and to very few cases to manipulate it. Create is not in use for basically. As it is. So you need to know what are the different constraints, what are the different data types, like we discussed data types. I guess you joined late, so maybe you missed that. You can see the recording. Then
Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
I just forgot about the class. Sorry.
Okay, so we discussed about data types. Now we're discussing about the constant. So constant, next constant is unique constant. Okay. Now, what is unique? When I tell that I'm telling here this ID column should be unique. What does it denote? If I tell that ID column is unique, that means, see, I've given here not null unique both. That means, let's say user ID. User ID, any column, any value in the column cannot be null. That means it should have a definite value there. It cannot be null and it should be unique. That means here, not null means it should have a value. Means this condition cannot be there because it should have a value. Now this condition, if I tell is unique, this condition cannot be also there because two are having duplicate value. It should be always unique. Okay, so that is also one of the criteria. If I tell unique means all the value in that particular column will be unique. No two value can be same in that column. Okay. That is unique constant. Next is primary key. Okay. So what is primary key? So primary key is, see, here I have a table. For me, the primary key is this user ID. That means with which column I can uniquely identify all the columns. So here username can be same. Okay. Anil Sharma can be Anil Sharma. Two Anil Sharma username can be there. Okay, but user ID will always be unique. Okay, so I have to select a primary key means with which column value I can uniquely identify others column value. That is called primary. Basically, the one which is unique is basically the primary key, but that necessarily not be the case always. But yes, that's the primary key. Okay. Next, foreign key. Okay, so foreign key is used to prevent access that destroy means a foreign key basically is a key that is primary key to the other table. That means here, this is the foreign key. Why? Because this is the primary key to this table, but it is present in this table. But for this table, maybe this is not the primary key, this is the primary key. So this becomes the foreign key. I have also one more example here. Let's see here. See. Actually, the table with foreign key is called child table, and the table with the primary key is called the parent table. That means this table, the starting table is this, for which we are identifying the rest table, right? So this is the parent table, these are the child tables. Okay. So this is the primary key for this, and this is the foreign key for this, basically. Okay. Let's see the examples. One more example. So there are two tables, person table. Okay, there is a person table here, there is an order table here. Okay. Now see, here person ID is there, here also person ID is there. Rest of columns are different, here rest of columns are also different. Show the person ID columns in the order table. That means in this table, person ID column in the order table points to the person ID column of the person table. That means person ID, see here, just see the difference. Here the person ID is not unique, but here the person ID is always unique. Yet they have duplicate values. Okay. That's why it cannot be primary key here. Primary key means it will have a unique value. First condition, because with that I'll be referring to other columns in the table. Sure. Here it has unique value, so this is the primary key. But this is the parent table also. But this is the child table. So it is referring to this key here, which have to, but this table I will take this is the primary key because it has unique values. But this is foreign key. But here it is primary key. It is referenced here So that is foreign key. Okay. Understood the difference between primary key and foreign key. This you will be using very much in your testing also. But means you understood, right? What is primary key, what is foreign key?
Yeah, yes, Pratik. Yeah. So primary key and foreign key are just the terms that we need to remember, right? So which is
No,
the
no,
primary
not the
element?
terms. Just understand the concept. In a table, there is a column through which you can uniquely identify others. That is
So
primary
primary
key.
key, yeah, that is always unique. That should be always
Ah,
unique, right?
yes. Primary key. But not necessarily unique, but generally it's always unique. Okay. But in the other table, which is using this reference, but that is not the primary key for it. There's a foreign key for it. This is basically the parent table. This is the child table. So I am using these values as a reference in this and creating value. That means a single person as a single person ID, but a single person can place multiple orders. This three user ID person three have placed multiple orders. So you have two orders here. He can do that. A single person can place multiple orders. So in order table, he has multiple entry for that. Okay, so this becomes a foreign key. Understood or not? Gautami?
Yes.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Child table, it is called as a foreign.
Yes, correct. Child table, which is referring that column, is called as foreign key. That means for, for this table, for the parent table, person ID is the primary key. For order table, person ID is the foreign. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the syntax. Okay, primary key, foreign key. So when you create the orders table, see when I create the order table here, create table order, I'm telling that foreign key is person ID. That means foreign key is person ID, which has a reference with reference to person table, reference to person table with the column person ID, the column person ID. Okay. So just see the syntax, you will not be using it basically, but yeah. Now, the next is a check constant. So what is the check constant? So here, if I want to check a particular value, that means there is a column is. Okay, let's say there's a column age which can accept integer data type. That means it can accept from 30, 40 like this. Okay, now I can also apply a check. It can accept integer, but it cannot accept age greater than 18. Let's say there is a table which is where you can open an account. So when you can open an account, or let's say you can vote. When you can vote, when you are above 8 years, 18 years of age. So if I create that table, then in the age, no entries would be made whose age is less than 18. So for that also I can use a check constraint. In which it will check the entered age is greater than 18. Then only he can enter and he will be eligible to get entry in the vote table. Or else it will show an error that it cannot be entered because his age is less than 18. So that also you can put. You can specify the data type. You can also put a check that yes, if that value is greater than 18, then it can enter. If the value is greater than this much, it can enter. Or less than this much, it can enter. This also you can do. This is the check constant. Then default constant. So what is the default constant? You're getting right, guys? What me deliver?
Yeah, Pratik.
Okay, next is the default constant. So what is default constant? So if I tell a particular column, that's a city, okay, is varchar, that means it can accept string, okay. But let's say this one, I don't give any values to it. Even though I don't give any value to it, it will not be done. Because the column where I am not entering any value, it will be filled with this particular default value. It's just a default value. Default means what? By default, we have some value, right? From the beginning. If you replace it with new value, then it is okay. But if you don't replace it, it will have this value every time. That means, let's say city sadness is there. Let's say I have a default value for this username. Sadness will always be there. If while entering values for this column, you don't enter anything, sadness will be there. Let's say you for this column you entered Anil Sharma, then it will be replaced by Anil Sharma. Or else that same sadness will be there. That means this column can never be null because default value is there. If you overwrite it, then it will be overridden, or else the default value is present all the time.
So that is only for the city column because we are defining with the city.
Which
one,
column
right?
I'm which column I'm defining, that column will only have. Others should not have, right? So which column I'm defining, that
Yeah.
column will only have.
Yeah.
Then index is very rarely used, but yes. So create index is used to create index in table. Index is used to retrieve data. That means basically what you can say is that it will create a reference. That means nickname you have, right? Index is basically for your home you have a nickname, right? Similarly, for this column, I can create for each of the cell, I can create one nickname. Okay, so but that becomes more complex. But yes, that is a feature. So I can create one nickname for that column. So directly I can call the nickname and access the values rather than traversing through the table again through the column again to that particular cell. What I can do, I can just directly access through the nickname. Okay, so yeah, that is one of the constant that is present in SQL. Understood all the different type of constants?
Yeah.
Now DQL. So what is DQL? So it's a data query language. That means in DQL, you just query the table and just read the value. Let's say I want to read a particular column. That all will be reading in details. Okay, all the comments don't read. Okay, just understand what is SQL. So this may be an interview question this comes, right? So that's all. So what is DQL? DQL means a data query language. That means I want to query and just read data from the database. That is just a data query language. Okay. The next is your DDL. DDL is a data definition language. That means it is used to define the schema. That means it is used to create. Basically, it is used to create the table, or it is used to change the table, structure of the table, or it is used to delete the table. These all comes under DDL. That is data definition language.
So
Okay.
Pratik, SQL, DQL, DDL are like similar, but their commands are different.
These all come under SQL only. This DQL comes under SQL. Everything comes under SQL. We are starting everything under SQL only.
Yeah, so they have different commands, right?
Yes, there are different commands. So we're reading those commands. Okay, so just understand the terms because just reading the command, you may not be knowing that this is DDL or this is DQL. If they ask in interview, you may get confused. You may be knowing the commands. I know the create command, I know the drop command, I know the alter command, I know the select command, but I don't know what is DQL or DDL. Then you cannot answer the question, right? We need to know the terms. And so what is DDL? DDL is that basically the language which is used to create, modify, or delete the tables basically in the database. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, next. TML. TML is data manipulation language. So what is data manipulation language? Data manipulation, see, what was DDL? DDL was with respect to the table. That means with respect to this table. But DML is with respect to the data entered inside the column. Okay. When I enter data inside the column, that is DML. That means I will be inserting data. When I insert data inside the columns or update the data inside the columns or delete the data inside the column, that is called DML. That is data manipulation language. Clear? So getting right,
Yeah.
Gautami,
Yeah,
Dhanyavad.
yes, Pratik.
What about Gautami?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm getting.
Now, now is a DCL, that is data control language. Again, this song will also not be used by you. It will be mainly by DBA because they will grant access to or to some of the user. So these all comes under DCL. That means they will revoke access to a database of some of the users. They will grant access to some of the user to the database. Is a DCL, that is data control language. Okay, granting or revoking access to the users, that is called as DCL. Understood? That means a
Yeah.
user can access the database. That access they will give. Then TCL, that is transition control language. Okay, transition is basically what you can say. Let's say I am doing some work in the database. I want to stop somewhere. Okay, I want to stop somewhere. So for that we have commands in this TCL, that is commit, rollback. Okay, set point, begin transition. These are actually basically the language which is used to store the progress of work in a SQL. What way about it? See, when we are creating a table, we are creating different procedure. This DJ developer, they create procedure, a lot of things they create inside the database, not just the tables. Okay, there are procedures. Just like in our programming language, we have functions. In the database, we have procedures. Okay, so they create procedure and let's say at some point they want to stop. They have written 10 or 15 lines of code, they want to stop. They don't, because if they will just close it, what will happen? The data, it will not store in the database, it will be erased out. So for that, if I want to commit, I want to roll back, I want to start again from the beginning, all this thing that comes under TCL, that is transition control language. Clear everyone? Anyone? Gautami?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Now let's install database in your system. Who want to share your screen? Who want to share your screen?
I can, yeah.
Yes, share your screen. Meanwhile, Gautami, you follow the steps in your system simultaneously. Okay.
Pratik, you need to stop sharing.
Yeah. So Gautami, you follow the steps. Okay. Meanwhile, now open the first link, Dhanival, which I pinned in the chat. What is this pop-up coming? Wait.
Cookie.
Okay. You can accept or declare whatever you want. Okay. Okay, 9.0 games. Okay, just click the drop down, the first drop down, 9.0 universal equivalent. Okay, first drop down. There is 8.0.3.8, right? Select that.
Yeah.
Now what you need to do, go below. Click on that. Wait. There is Windows QI installer. Go above, go to download page is there. Then it's written go to download page. Click on that. Now go below. Here is 32 MSI installer. 32 MSI installer. Okay. Click on that second one.
This one.
Click on it. No thanks. Just start my download. Click on that. The beta one. Open that. Go to download. Double click it. Take some time. Okay, click on yes. What happened? Okay.
It is open. Yeah.
Click on server. Click on next. Click on execute. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Give some password. Give some password here.
Okay.
Repeat the same password below.
Okay, let me change it.
Remember this password. You'll be logging using this
Yeah.
password. Same password you give. Click on next. 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 Execute. It will take some time. Yes. Okay. Yeah, click on finish. Click on next. Click on finish. Now go to the second link.
Which link?
Second link in the chart. I've given a second link in the chart.
Oh,
Open that.
okay. This one?
Chat I'm not able to see. Paste it in the
Oh,
Chrome.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. Click on that. Download. Go below. Go below. Go below. Click on that download. Who has to start my download below? Click on that. Open that. Open that. Second, no. Again, what you did. Cancel it. Cancel it. Workbench you have to install. Again, you are installing the.
Okay, sorry.
Double click. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Install. Click on finish. Okay, wait, it will launch. Just launching. Open it. Expand it. Now wait. There is a MySQL connection. There is a plus, right? After MySQL connection, there is a plus. Check.
Wait. Here, yeah.
Yes, click on that. Okay, password. Okay. Okay, click on the test connection. Click on test connection. Keep the password which you have entered.
Okay.
Click on OK. Successful. Okay. Now click on OK. Now you have successfully connected to the database. Click on OK.
Okay.
And oh, you didn't enter the name. Click on OK again. Enter the name
Here?
here. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Enter the name here. Okay, click on test connection again. Successfully. Okay, click on OK.
Okay.
Okay. Now double click
Yeah.
that 31. Double click it. Now there is a schema, right? See below. There is a schema.
Mm,
No, left.
yeah, here,
Yes.
here.
Click on that.
Yeah.
Yes. Expand that SYS. Expand that SYS. Expand the table. Expand that table. Expand that SYS. Yeah. Expand that columns. You'll be able to see columns. Yes. Our table is created for you. That means you are successfully connected to the database.